Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video, we're diving into Season 2 of Live Arena. I've got some gameplay at 2x speed for your pleasure in the background, some B-roll footage of... I did my first 10 fights yesterday, so this is the first sort of proper 10 fights of the season. And yeah, we're going to be breaking down what is new, or lack thereof, in the season, and then also giving feedback from me in terms of what I personally would like to see changed in live arena seasons moving forwards. I'll leave the feedback, the complaining, to the end, so you don't have to listen to that for too long anyway. But yeah, let's dive in. I will be linking, hopefully, an article I've written about this on hellhades.com, breaking down some of these different points. Now, the first main point is what has changed in season 2, and the answer, quite simply, is nothing. Nothing. There are zero changes. It is exactly the same. I think this is expected, but still disappointing. Basically, Plarium tends to work in like 6-month development cycles. We probably won't see any changes for months and months and months, but it is still, to me, disappointing. But hey, there you go. That's that's basically the long and short of it. Now, what are the differences going to be then? Are there any differences or not? And the answer is that yes, there actually are going to be some differences to see. And it's simple enough what we're going to see that's different. Number one is Embrys the Anomaly. I think we did see him in a couple of fights here in the background. But Embrys is going to be coming in, and he gives teams a guaranteed way to remove Stone Skin. And he's also a really strong Form 2 nuker. So GG, lost the first one. He's a very strong Form 2 nuker, which gives a lot of players access to that, which might not already have it. Like, if you don't have Carnage already, you haven't pulled a Mythical, you might not have a Form 2 nuke champion, which is very powerful against champions that can increase your skill cooldowns. Yeah, and Embrys, there's not that many really good Force nukers. There's, what, Harima? I might be blanking on some others. I mean, there's really not that many. They're quite rare. So having a good Force nuker in your arsenal is quite decent. I guess there's Staltus, Freya can do the job. I don't know. There's probably others that I can't think of off the top of my head. I tried Gallius in the first fight and it didn't quite work. He's okay, but Embrys is definitely better. So yeah, that's sort of what we're expecting. Now, the other big change, of course, is that's change number one, Embrys. The other big change is Fabian. And I'm sure we saw Fabian in some of these fights. Yeah, you're going to be seeing Fabian a bunch as well this season. How do you... I should actually mention counterplay. How are you going to play against them? That's a big question, right? That's a very big question. So for Embrys, how do you play against him? It's very difficult. In fact, it's one of the meta changes we're going to talk about, which is the power of Lightning Cage is a pretty big deal. But other than that, it gets tricky. So Lightning Cage can protect your buffs. That gives you a way in. Lightning Cage will stop him removing Stone Skin and stuff if the Lightning Cage triggers. Another option that you've got is just stacking some Spirit Affinity champions. If he weak hits them, he won't remove their buffs. So that's viable as well. But it's pretty difficult. I will say high resistance is a decent play. Now, the way that Embrys works is he will remove your buffs, and it won't trigger Polymorph, and it bypasses, Stone Skin's 50-50 chance to stop it. He'll just remove the buffs, and that doesn't require accuracy. It literally happens 100% of the time, or whatever. Why ever they decided to do that, but that's what they decided. So that's what you have to deal with. There's a Fabian, actually. So yeah, you can't stop him removing the buffs, but you can stop him placing the debuffs, so the True Fear and the other negative debuffs. You can stop that with resistance, and because he is a good Form 2 damage dealer, and because he does a bunch of stuff without needing accuracy, players often don't build much accuracy on him, like a minimal amount. So even a medium resistance champion is likely to be able to resist his debuffs. Again, you cannot stop him removing your buffs, but you can at least resist the crowd control and maybe get through. But he's just a very good champion. I'm actually kind of surprised in these fights we didn't see him a crazy amount, but we saw him a bit. Yeah, that's sort of what's going on there. Now, the other two big changes, Lightning Cage, Wand of Submission. So, oh, sorry, I've clicked into the wrong thing. We want to look at the fight. Lightning Cage, I've already mentioned. There's a Lightning Cage, for example, on that Carnage. Lightning Cage is now a very, very strong blessing for really most damage dealers. For any champion in Stone Skin, it's a great pick. For any champion in general, it's a great pick. The reason being that Wand of Submission, which we're going to mention in a second, now Empress in there, multiple other extremely strong debuffers. Marius can remove buffs as well. Many champions who can remove buffs and not trigger Polymorph. Pinpoint, preventing Polymorph a good bit. Polymorph has really fallen off, and Wand of Submission reflects Polymorph back sometimes. Polymorph is much more rare, and yeah, there's another Fabian. And due to that, yeah, you're going to see a lot more buff strippers. And like Fabian, like Marius, like Empress, Lightning Cage becomes a very potent way to counter them. So Lightning Cage is really on the up. And yeah, actually, something I didn't put in the article, but I do think we might see some in Season 2. It's really hard. The rewards really suck, right? You really don't get much Stone Cleaver at all. But Hegemon and Stone Cleaver or with Cracking Roots, like we can see right there against the Marius who had Stone Skin, our Hegemon almost broke through. If he had a Stone Cleaver set, if he had a higher Cracking Roots Blessing, we probably would have broken the Stone Skin on that Marius, and he would have been a lot easier to kill. We certainly would have been able to sleep him for sure with Sephia. Probably should have slapped him anyway, actually, looking at it. But too late now. But yeah, that's something that could change as well. Small thing. Wand of Submission is the other big thing. And again, to mention, so he's dead. Again, to mention that we are almost definitely 63%. We're definitely getting a Wand of Submission for everyone on the 4th of May. So that's in a couple of weeks. 2 weeks time, and bam, everyone is going to be having at least one Wand of Submission. It is the best arena relic in the game. It goes up to a 50% chance to reflect sheep, stuns, fears, all hard crowd control stuff. I think it doesn't reflect block active skills or block passives, but it reflects almost everything else, and it's extremely strong. It gives you a pretty strong way, by the way, to fight back against Armans. I mean, look, if Armans tries to sheep you on his A3, and you've got a Wand of Submission fully upgraded, 50% of the time he sheeps himself for 2 turns instead. He's just dead. You just hard countered Armans. You can reflect the fears from Fabian, you can reflect the petrify from Fabian, etc. It's a pretty massive game changer. It's totally overpowered. It's totally OP. It is the best arena relic for most champions. Yeah, it is. It's kind of insane. I mean, maybe we'll get more like enfeeble champs and block passive champs and stuff. I think Arena really needs that, honestly. But yeah, that's where we are at for now. Lamassu is also a champion you might see more and more, and could be a good addition. Here, I actually wasn't sure, by the way, if we would place the block passives before killing the Wukong, or if he'd just come back. So I tried to strip the Stone Skin on Harima, and it didn't work. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know exactly how that interacts, to be completely honest, but obviously, we're going to be fine. Right. So yeah, that's the other big thing. So Wand of Submission, new best relic, everyone gets one. Lightning Cage, Ember's Fabian. I think these are massive changes that should affect almost every player. Definitely Wand will affect everyone. Lightning Cage is probably pretty likely. Empress for later game players, and Fabian for anyone who completed the fusion is going to be seeing them. And we're also going to have a lot of future potential. So new fusions, new event dungeons, and faction wars hard. So if we go through those one by one, a new fusion I think is pretty unlikely, but it's worth mentioning. I think the Fabian fusion was likely, as Armans was before him. Here we're up against Armans and Fabian. Both. He's got both. Armans was like the big PvP fusion really of 2024. I think Fabian is likely to be that of 2025 as well. We might see another one, but I think it's unlikely be as strong. So we'll see. So watch out for fusions, but probably not going to be too crucial for Arena, that they might surprise us. More likely than that, new event dungeon. A new event. I think that's pretty massively likely. Possibly coming alongside Faction Wars Hard, in fact. We are due a new event. Alice's Adventure has been over for a while, and that is likely to bring the event dungeon back. And let's be honest, I mean, they might come up with a new set, but let's be real, they're probably just going to run back Pinpoint again. That becomes a massive way to spend your energy. The event champions are typically incredibly OP, incredibly strong. Think about Odin, think about Queen of Hearts, think about Thor, think about Mad Hatter, incredibly good. Mad Hatter, not too relevant really for Arena. Arguably Thor, not crazy good either, but some of the others are. Look, what I'm trying to say is you're going to get really good champions, and the event dungeon's probably back. Now, more importantly, perhaps relics. Consider how intensive it was to farm up materials to get the cat's gaze and consider how powerful the cat's gaze is, I think that Plarium is going to very likely do the same sort of thing again. A limited edition relic for a new big event like Asgard Divide or Alice's Adventure. I think it's very likely, and I think it's going to be very hard. Very hard to get this stuff. And let's be honest, knowing Plarium, it's most likely the relic will be even more powerful than Cat's Gaze and even more difficult to get. Even more costly to get. So yeah, I would actually recommend stockpiling stuff now. It's part of why I'm kind of skipping a lot of this Titan event. I'm doing some of it, but I'm not going to go crazy on resources for this Titan event if I can avoid it, because I'd rather stockpile for the next big major event in the game. I think that's likely to give more tangible rewards. Now, Faction War's hard. We know there's new relics coming for that. We know there's the mythical, obviously. It might take months to get the mythical. It might take months to get, it just might take months to get all the stuff. So who the heck knows? It's hard to say. So we'll see. That's where we're at. We'll see. It probably won't affect Season 2, but it's something that's probably going to drop, I would think, during Season 2. Faction War's hard. And it's certainly going to be something you want to start working on as a priority. And then you rip in the background. And yeah, it will really be a huge thing for Season 3. It's definitely something to be aware of. It's going to be a game changer. And there we go. That's all the stuff about looking forwards and rip our team. If I make this smaller, so we can still see some of the fight over here, probably good. And we can zoom this in. So this, I thought I'd just walk you guys through it. This is my feedback in terms of live arena. Because some of the CCs, other CCs were dropping feedback in content creator chat. And yeah, so here, I'm adding my feedback as well. So let's go. Actually, let's put it down so we can see the names and what. No, actually, I guess we put this in the middle for now. But yeah, number one, for me, feedback for live arena seasons. Number one, lack of clarity is a big thing. What relics do people have equipped? When are the relics triggering? That stuff is really hard to see. Like you literally cannot see what relics they have. You've got no idea. I think that's a big problem. I think seeing stacks on passive. So for example, how many stacks does Odin have on his passive? Queen of Hearts. What about Wukong reviving? All that stuff is really, really hard to see. I think tracking cooldowns just in general with all the different cooldown reduction sources is a pain in the butt, especially when you've got cooldowns like, Wukong's A2 or Siegfried. That can just one-shot your entire team. I actually think I'm going to go a step further and say tracking cooldowns in general, just in general, is too much, right? Because you got to track relic cooldowns, you got to track blessing cooldowns, champion actives, champion passives. You got to track, the resisted text. Did we lock them out with our Fabian or did we miss? What happened? Did he weak hit? There's a lot of stuff to track, and I think it's bad. I think it's too much, and it shouldn't be in the game. Simple enough. That's my thoughts on it. Sorry if you disagree, but you might say skill issue. It is a skill to track all that stuff, but in my opinion, for most players, it's too much. So I think a couple of things you could have. Number one, an inspect mode. Rip. One shot by nice. Feels good. Inspect mode to see all current effects, cooldowns, and so on, relics, blessings, whatever on champions. We've got the info tab, but it's kind of limited. But like seeing, how long does he have left on his active skills? How long is he left on his passive skills? What relic does he have? What's the cooldown on the relic? Like, is Aspect of Siroth on cooldown or is it not? Seeing that for both your champions and their champions, I think is a good idea personally. Yeah, all that sort of stuff. I also think a combat log could be good. What actually happened? Why did he not die? Open a combat log. Okay, I hit him. It triggered Aspect of Siroth. Oh, that's what happened. Okay, I get it now. Or, that was actually the wand of submission, reflected my thing back. Okay, I get it now. That sort of stuff I think would really improve things. Number two, I think monetization is a huge problem and probably the dominant problem or one of them for most players. There are just too many sources of pay to win in the game. And honestly, you saw it in the last fight. The Nice just basically destroyed us. Just getting champions, Siegfried, another great example. Just getting champions is insanely OP alone, right? Like, if you did not have the ability to purchase souls and gear and all the other bullshit, if you could just buy shards for champions, you already have a ludicrous advantage over other players, right? You just do. But there's so many other sources of pay to win as well. Something that really bothers me at the moment, because we're in a speed meta, is that speed is tied to money. I think that really sucks. So I think one good example, if your opponent picks a speed team and they've got +2 champions with 6-star blessings, guess what? They're 25 speed faster. You know? Just from the start of the fight, they just have 25% speed more. And the way I summarized this was, F you, non-spender, you should have spent more money. That's basically what it feels like. It's just, well, not only do they have, more champions and they've got the stronger blessing effects, they've got all this stuff that I don't have. We just got wanded there, by the way, which wrecks us. Not only do they have all this stuff that I don't have, but they just, in a speed meta, they're just way faster for no real reason. Cool, I guess. That's nice. And yeah, with relics are not the worst thing. Relics are soft monetized. And what I mean by a soft monetized, they are monetized. You cannot buy relics directly, but again, we talked about with event dungeon, not the event dungeon, but event related tournaments where rip, we didn't event related tournaments, yeah, where if you win the tournament, you get more relic fragments. So it's soft monetized. Like if you go in, like if we went in and we ran the Alice's Adventure event, and I said, one person, here, you've got $0 to spend in the game, cannot spend anything, go. Person number 2, here's 10 grand, go ham. Obviously the person with 10 grand is walking away with more relics, plain and simple. And that's also a general thing. You spend more money, your clan wins more, you're going to get more relics from Siege when they add, I think they're adding relics to Siege. You get obviously more relics more easily from Live Arena. If you don't spend enough money or you haven't been playing for long enough, you probably physically can't get the fragments from the milestones. You just can't do it. And all the other sources. So it's soft monetized. You can't buy them directly, but spending money will massively help you get relics. That's a layer, again, of more monetization. It's a soft layer, but it's still a layer. I said this could be bad. They could hard monetize it. They could just start selling relics for real money. Oh, that was all the fights. Well, let's go back to the start and watch me die again. And yeah, any future features, because let's be honest, there will be more future features, whatever, void mythicals, whatever else comes next. There'll be more stuff to buy to make your account more powerful. They're just adding this stuff on and on and on, like empowerment, blessings, relics, whatever, faction guardians, all this stuff, mythicals, prisms, faction unities, like Volcanos is crazy, all that stuff. There's just an ever increasing amount of monetization, and they never go back, and they don't go like, you know what? Well, listen, we're gonna start selling relics. I guess we should start giving players more soul stones and more essence, right? So they can catch up, right? We don't need multiple monetizations for Arena. Yeah. Now that we've put in relics, let's make it easier for people to get souls, right? Let's do that. No, that doesn't really happen. Doesn't really. I mean, they're just like, it's more like more ways for people to spend money equals more good for us, and that is bad. That's a huge concern with the game. The glory days of just you could buy champions and that was it. In a competitive mode, it's still crap that there's pay to win at all. But that seems like a glorious promised land in comparison to somewhat where we are now, and certainly where it could go even worse. Time, another big thing for me. 60% win rate to get all the milestones is 10 battles per day, which I was able to do that. 6% win rate, or more. I don't know. Took about 10 battles per day on average. I felt that was a massive time sink. For a more accessible 50% win rate to get all the milestones, you need to do 15 battles per day in Live Arena. I mean, to put it in context, this was 5 battles, 34 minutes. To do 15, sorry, this was 10 battles, 34 minutes. So we'll be looking at 45 minutes to an hour, potentially, of having to sit down and actively play the game every single day. That's really intensive. It's really punishing. And if you miss a couple of days, you've got to whip out another hour, another day to catch up. And it's going to cost you a whole bunch of gems. And it's just a pain in the ass. It's just too much. So in my opinion, it is too much. And then finally, rewards. I said, to be fair, there have been many big improvements here since launch. There have been many improvements. They've really added a lot more rewards to Live Arena, and they've made it easier to get the milestone rewards. It's been pretty good. But there could still be more. yeah, there could still be more. One thing I would like would be more tangible breakpoint goals for players that are not able to maximize the milestones or get to the top 100. And the top 100 rewards are a bit of a joke as well. That it looks like they give you loads of stuff, but they give you like 3 or 4 things. It's absolutely crap. But um, yeah, it's like, it doesn't feel like if it just feels pretty bad. If you're a sort of player, you come in and say, no, I can get about 600 points in the live arena season. You just feel like sort of got a few rewards, but there's not really that much. I don't know. I feel like you just sort of sat there. There's no big rewards that make stuff stand out. Like, whatever. Do 100 battles in the season, you get a cool skin for a champion, or you get an avatar frame and then a cool skin. Even nice cosmetic things like that could be pretty cool. And that also ties into my final point, which is that tying all of the rewards, every single type of reward and source of reward in Live Arena is tied into winning. And in a game which is pay to win, in my opinion, it's a strategy that will exacerbate all the other negatives. So, yeah, everything else that is bad about this becomes worse because it's all about winning. If you come in and lose, good luck, right? Good luck. Why, And that's really frustrating because you can just be outspent and lose the fight no matter what. It doesn't matter how skilled you are, how long you've been playing, anything. None of it matters. If another player has simply just swipes their credit card enough, they can beat you effectively every single time, and there's nothing you can do about it, and you will run into them. And that's just frustrating. It's just a waste of time, and that is a frustration that makes, like I said, everything worse. So what they should do, in my opinion, I think having obviously rewards for winning, that's fine, but I think like I said, there should be rewards for just participating and just doing arena at all, live arena at all. Yeah, because so much of it is outside of players' control, and you can just have really shitty fights, right? Like here, I think there's maybe one fight where like the player was clearly stronger than me. There was a couple of fights here in the background. I'm sure you noticed a few fights even where I think I fought someone like at 3,000 points or something. I was like, yeah, we are clearly. There was like a fight where some dude was like, wait, his champions are really slow compared to mine. I'm like, this is just not fair, right? I'm clearly just way stronger than him, and that happens a lot. And yeah, so it's a bit of a problem. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on Live Arena. Let me know what you think of Live Arena. Season 2, it is here, it is live, and it's the exact same thing again. Yeah, what do you want to see? And yeah, what are you expecting of the season? Let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.